Samuel. Dead No More. Patient Zero. Chapter 24. Joshua in Danger. "Think, we have a problem," I whispered. We were surrounded by the dead, and Joshua was missing. The guttural wheezing of the dead was deafening as I scanned for auditory evidence of Joshua. His scent was faint, and he was last detected moving swiftly in a northern direction. "Dr. Harris, I presume?" came a voice over the droning of the dead. "My, how you've changed." P., a slender man in a white suit carrying a cane, stepped from a crowd of mercenaries clearing out the DCs. This man was looking at a pocket watch. A clumsy scan of his mind revealed that his name was Greer Nathaniel Bean. Mr. Bean was a local consigliere for various lowlifes in the greater Atlanta area. When he displeased his bosses, he was often referred to as Green Bean, a nickname he was none too fond of having. "Harris, I work for a consortium of individuals who, let's say, have a particular interest in what you have been able to accomplish," he said. "We have welcomed into our midst one Mr. Cisco and one Mr. Grundy, and they have regaled us with tales of your far-reaching accomplishments. We would like to extend a similar offer to you." I was able to glean the location to where they were taking Joshua from his mind, and while I was there, I decided to help us with our escape by leaving a little suggestion for Mr. Bean. "I'm afraid, sir, that I will have to decline your most gracious offer," I yelled over the droning of the dead. "And if you will excuse me, thank you, gentlemen, for the warning and your help." "Gentlemen, we have been betrayed," shouted Mr. Bean. "Your captain and your lieutenants are working for our targets. Execute them now." P. The ensuing confusion and gunfire allowed us to make our way to our vehicle. We headed towards the Peachtree District in downtown Atlanta. The city was overrun with the dead. It figures the close proximity of city dwelling would cause the outbreak to be much worse than in rural locales. The streets were full of the dead, following sounds that they have long forgot they have heard. As we turned onto Peachtree Street, you could see that one of the blocks was cordoned off and heavily fortified. Mercenaries lined the walls. 3 skyscrapers jutted out from behind the wall and reached toward the heavens. The gate slid open as the vehicle that contained Joshua entered. "Listen, they know about the serum, but they don't know the extent of its effects," I said to T and T2. "We have that and our superior intellect as assets in this situation." "So what's the plan, bro?" asked T. "Do we just run in roughshod?" "No," I responded. "You and T2 are not bulletproof, and if they feel endangered, they may shoot first and ask questions later. I'll go in alone. They know nothing about my immortality." We parked around the corner from the skyscraper. I took a bunch of Von bombs and took off on foot. Instead of tossing the bombs in the midst of DCs, I set the alarms to go off 2.5 minutes before the explosions to draw more of them away from my planned route. As the last bomb exploded, I paraded right up to the gate as guns were trained on me. "I believe your employers are expecting me," I said. "Now do you wish to open the gate, or should I leave?" The gate opened as about 20 mercs rushed out to greet me with guns drawn. I walked in with my hands held up. I scanned their minds and realized that they thought I was just a large human. "All those muscles ain't gonna help yo ass now," said a raspy but familiar voice. "My new partners want what's in us, in them." It was Cisco. Although he was changed, it was minor compared to Tank and the others. He seems to gained a 9.038% addition to his mass. I would surmise that he has been too cowardly to test whether or not he was immune to bites. Based on the additional mass and cranial capacity, I deduced that his strength and intelligence was barely above that of Joshua's, but I could literally see that his exposure to the serum had made him immune. "That's a real bitch move, snatching the kids, Cisco," I said. "If you wanted to talk to me, all you had to do was ask." "Well, I'm asking, Doc. Can we talk?" he said with a smirk. "We have lots to discuss." The entire trip today, I had been theorizing a supposition. I mean, yes, I was engaged with T and T2, but just under the surface of my subconscious, I speculated that each person who received a dose of the serum was a subset of me, T2, M, and the baby as a whole. The one constant is that the baby is a subset of me, and they derived their gifts from her amniotic fluid. Therefore, should I supplicate that I should be able to duplicate their gifts as well? "What do you and your partners want, Cisco?" I asked rather tersely. "You went through a lot of trouble and expense to get me here. Let's skip the pleasantries and get to why we're here." "See, that's what I like about you, Doc. Straight to business," he said. "Grundy told me what you are now capable of doing. You were dangerous before, but now it seems that your speed and strength have become augmented like mine. By the way, where is our man Green Bean?" "Mr. Bean has been otherwise detained," I said. "He ran into a bit of a tough spot back in the woods. In any event, my partners and I would like you to develop more of the serum," he said. "As I stated earlier, they want what is in us. But Cisco, you know that is impossible," I said. "The last of the serum spilled back at your compound as it splashed on us. That was the last of it, and we are unable to make more due to you burning Eli's formula." "Bullshit," he yelled. "Either you make more, or the kid who is currently enjoying our hospitality will meet with a very unfortunate accident." I decided to have a little fun with Cisco by planting remarks in the minds of the present mercs. "Like the one your parents made when they had you," said one of the mercs in the crowd, which caused some laughter among his compatriots. "Who the hell said that?" screamed Cisco. "I won't tolerate any sass from you plebeians." As he focused his attention back on me, he continued, "As I was saying, either you make more, or Junior dies," he stated matter-of-factly. "Cisco, I do not believe you are capable of making such decisions," I countered. "I would like to speak to the person in charge." "You asshole," began Cisco, but he was interrupted by an opening door. Out walked a man I immediately recognized. It was State Senator Asher Harrington. More so, he was also a former patient of mine, and long thought to be linked to organized crime in the greater Atlanta area. "Is that you, Dr. Harris?" he asked. "Wow, you have changed a lot. I mean, you were always a big guy, but you look like you've been hitting the nuclear steroids." He then turned his attention to Cisco and motioned for him to return inside the building. Cisco acquiesced with a scowl. "As always, Doc, you are very astute in your earlier assessment of Mr. Cisco's involvement in our little enterprise," he stated. "Just between you and me, he and Mr. Grundy are no more than a means to an end. That end being you." I realized, due to the skip in his heartbeat, that Cisco had heard Harrington's remarks, and he was not pleased at all. "To put it bluntly, Doc, the group that I am a part of has a very, very exclusive membership, and those two are far from the right types that we would consider for members," he said. "You, however, my good doctor, are exactly the type of candidate we are looking for to expand our little club." "I'm flattered, Senator Harrington, that you and your fellow delegates would consider including me in your club, but I have a family, and they take up the majority of my time and energy now," I said. "Besides, I'm not sure Mr. Cisco and Grundy explained how events unfolded and how they burned the only written copy of the formula." Come now, Doc. Don't be modest, he said. We both know that if not for your genius, I would not be here now to extend this most generous offer. After Eli and a few other successes, I had an emergency case of a politician who had collapsed into a coma and was basically brain dead due to an overdose of narcotics. That politician was Senator Harrington, but to his credit, or so I thought, he cleaned up his act. He renounced drugs and that baller lifestyle that he had adopted, and rededicated himself to his constituency. While he attempted to sway me with platitudes, I had devised a plan that would work with a 78.637% probability. I could deduce that the men that Harrington worked with would not be as susceptible to the word no as Harrington and Cisco were. Well, since you have such faith in me, how can I possibly decline such a magnanimous offer? I asked. However, I will need the young man that you all are keeping as a guest to assist me in my research. Doc, he is more than just going to help you, said Harrington. He's going to be your test subject.